In the meantime, I do want to get a read of these markets from Jonathan Hoenig, who's here. He's got a book out, a new textbook on Americanism. And now we're questioning American stocks these days. I do want to touch on that for a bit. But what the heck is going on? When you look at everything that's going on, that's James Freeman's book. It's a wonderful book. Buy it. But it's not his book. But anyway, what do you make of what's going on here?
Neil, I mean, it's an ugly tape. There's just no way. Put aside the politics, put aside all the opining on the administration or not. This is an ugly tape. And you know it just by looking at the number of new highs versus new lows. This essentially tells you what's going on beneath the surface. You pointed out Amazon as Apple is now being essentially on the cusp of a bear market. But there's even more stocks, something like, what is it, today about almost 200 stocks now in new 52-week lows. Those are stocks at new long-term trends, only about 30 or 40 in new 52-week highs. So essentially just a weak tape, and it makes it difficult for stocks to do well, even when there's good news out. And
so when there is a weak tape, when you refer to that, are you talking about just an environment that in the past it seems we've had weak temper tantrums, whatever you want to call them, they're short-lived. This has some staying power to it because, as you said, underneath the surface, it's far uglier than it appears on the surface.
I mean, look, as I said, I'm not a Cassandra. I'm not rooting. But, you know, the old saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And that's true in a bull market. Many stocks tend to participate. I think in a bear market, especially led by, Apple, Neil. These FANGs, it wasn't Alcoa and Ford, which were driving us on the way up. It was these FANG stocks. So I see it not.
Well, do you think their sell-off is overdone?
No, Neil,
Really?
I don't. No, Facebook was just at a 52-week low. Amazon, as you said, is at a bear market. So these are still essentially falling knives. And I see it almost as a situation not unlike the late 1990s, where by their own success, these companies become such a dominant part of the indices, if nothing else, let alone the economy. Amazon itself is, or Apple is, 12% of the NASDAQ. It's 4 or 5% of the Dow. So, weakness in these stocks is just going to be difficult. What does it mean for everyday investors? I think you have to sit tight and be loath to put a lot more money to work in this market right now.
You can always try to catch a falling knife and see a bargain. You don't see us at any of those levels for any of these stocks.
Again, I'm not that worst case scenario, but I think about that period after 2000s. A lot of people bought Microsoft because they said, Microsoft's not going out of business, Cisco's not going out of business, Oracle's not going. None of them went out of business. Intel's not going out of business. These were the big names in the 90s. None of them went out of business, but their stocks basically traded sideways for 10 years.
The big deal was that they survived the internet.
They survived, but we're in it to make money.
No, you're right.
And, so a lot of people say they're in it for the long haul with something like Amazon, but 5, 6, 7 years on, when they haven't made any money, they say, all right, uncle, get me out.
All right. You mentioned Amazon, these two cities that won in New York, Long Island City, and, of course, in Northern Virginia. They're guaranteeing 50,000 jobs. That is Amazon for both locations, 25,000 each, but billions in relief and tax incentives. Now a lot of liberals are, crying foul. And what did we really get for that, you say?
Well, what if it was for Solyndra? They would love it. If it was for something green, they would love it. They should be against it, and conservatives should be against it, Neil. This, again, take the party out. This is cronyism. We should be against cronyism. We should be against government picking winners and losers. As you said, this is $2.5 billion of other people's money going to Amazon to, whether it creates jobs or not is irrelevant. That's wrong.
Do you believe Amazon when it says 50,000 jobs?
Oh, Neil, how many times have we heard this? Ethanol, a great example. That was the Republicans, essentially scammed to boost up that industry. Oh, it was going to create so many jobs. The Obama stimulus. Oh, it's going to create so many jobs. If there's jobs to be created, let them create them as Amazon has always created jobs in the private sector.
Would it be money well spent by the public sector if you can invest in getting those jobs in your neck of the woods?
Well, I think it's actually underestimated, Neil. They say it's $45,000 per cost to the taxpayer.
Right.
I think it's actually compounded at a much higher rate, because think of all the lost production. The logical result would be to simply cut spending, have the state cut spending, have city cut spending, and cuts everyone's taxes, and then let them decide who to subsidize, not subsidize. The worst
That's a very good point.
Well, the worst thing too is that it creates that moral precedent, because now if you want to compete, you have to go to, I don't know, is it Cuomo's office or de Blasio, any of these politicians' office.
To say nothing of all the businesses already here are saying, hey, what about me?
Exactly. It's a real affront to every honest tax-paying business person. It's a great example of why a lot of times business people are the worst offenders of capitalism.
See, this is what makes you a riddle wrapped in a conundrum. You tick off both. But this new textbook on Americanism. Is this the kind of stuff you're exploring?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Neil,
odd that you had the book with you.
Thank you. Well, I was happy to share it with you. I mean, this is real radical stuff. I mean, I have published this because I believe that Americans left and right have really forgotten the basic nature of what America is about. It's not about sacrifice to God or the greater good or the steelworkers or the environment or Amazon or anyone else. It's about individualism, Neil. It's about your own right to live your own life unencumbered, unmolested by anyone, including government, to pursue your own happiness. You know, we always say, oh, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. It's kind of like da-da-da-da-da. That's a very radical statement.
Are you warning that something's going to happen if we don't get our free act together?
Well, we know what happens. I mean, look at any, you know, there's this, and this book was actually inspired by a publication by Ayn Rand.
Sure.
She saw this coming in the 1940s, which is essentially collectivism's rise in America. So this country isn't about, you know, sacrifice to God or the Fuhrer or to the Pope or anyone else, to the leader, dear Chavez or anyone else. It's about your own life.
You bring up President Trump?
We talk a bit about President Trump, yeah.
How do you think he's done?
Well, you know, I mean, my frustration, Neil, with President Trump was always his reflection on capitalism. If anything, that's what differentiates America really from every other society in history, is our emphasis on a capitalist society based on individual rights, your right to your own life, your own liberty, your own happiness. So what frustrates me is a lot of Trump's nationalist rhetoric. There's been I think, a kind of a bait and switch between patriotism and nationalism. So for me, a nationalist is someone who says, my country, right or wrong. You know, my country, right or wrong. That's what I see a lot of now. A real patriot who says, no, America, for the right ideas, for the individualist ideas that says your life is your own and you're not a sacrifice to the greater good.
So you're taking Emmanuel Macron's view. You're French.
No, by no means. I mean, you know, Europe is a great example of what happens to a collectivist society over time. No, it doesn't necessarily disintegrate, but it becomes a terrible place you want to leave. Keep America exceptional, keep it individualist, and keep it free.
Very good. I look forward to reading the book. I have not had the pleasure. A new textbook on Americanism. He emphasizes the me, I think, there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. It's very clever.
Thank you, Neil.
And there are words inside it, right?
Lots of words,
amazing.
but it's for a young audience.
I appreciate that. I think we need to be reminded what we're about, what we should be about.